I mean, it surpassed any of my expectations in terms of what I thought we would achieve. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm really proud of everything we've achieved in terms of space and programs and grants, and we've an amazing team down there now, which is super as well, and they work really well together. Excited about the next chapter, delighted with the impact I've had in Killorglin over the last 6 years, and now it's time to move to Stillorgan and have hopefully the same impact in Nova UCD.
Liam, lovely to have you in the studio today.
Delighted to be here, Mark. Thanks for the opportunity.
I can't believe it's 6 years, right? Because I remember we were chatting when you were kind of leaving your last couple of days with Adapt. I think we were in the Science Gallery at the time, and then you were talking about RDI Hub. And it was literally from idea, building site, to one of the most beautiful kind of event rooms and kind of in Killorglin. You can't, unless you go there, you can't actually fathom how nice it is and how kind of incredible the atmosphere is. What was it like for the last 6 years? What's it been like for you? We're now going to talk about the AI summer school. We're going to talk about all those different aspects. But just for yourself, it must be an incredible experience. Was it just building that up?
Look, it's been amazing. I mean, it surpassed any of my expectations in terms of what I thought we would achieve. I mean, I suppose when I joined in June 2019, as you said, it was a building site. I remember it well. In the mornings, I used to be out on site with my hard hat on, just trying to get the building ready for it to be opened in January 2020. And then the afternoons were building the ecosystem into Killarney, Tralee, Limerick, Clare, to try and build the ecosystem locally. So, that was the first 6 months. And then, I suppose January 2020 came, the team arrived, we had our first company, Taximo, joined us, and we were getting ready for the launch, which was the middle of February, and we launched, amazing launch, I remember the day well, on the 6th of February, and we're up and running, and then 6 weeks later we've been shut with COVID. So it's been a roller coaster, I think is the word I'd use, but it's great to see where the hub is at now, like in terms of the impact it's having. I suppose we just, as you know, back in February this year, we did our 5 years in business event, and just to see the impact, over 100 companies have called the RDI Hub their home. We've generated over 500 new jobs, 10,000 people have come for training courses. We've been really successful in recent times around European funding. I think about 500,000 European funding in the last couple of years. And then, as you said, all throughout it, we've had that AI thematic. So, similar to yourself, we haven't just embraced AI in the last 12 months. From the very first year, even in 2020, we had the John McCarthy AI Summer School that year around AI for Sustainability. We kept doing the summer school all throughout COVID. That led us on to the Gen AI for Business event with Microsoft in January 2024, which then led into the whole Smart Regions AI Navigator project around masterclasses and training and consultancy. So I think we've really kind of honoured John McCarthy. We call the building the John McCarthy building after the famous Stanford professor that coined the phrase artificial intelligence, because in All Good Things Ireland, his father was born 5 miles from the hub. So I think we've definitely honoured that over the last 6 years as well. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and I'm really proud of everything we've achieved in terms of space and programs and grants, and we've an amazing team down there now, which is super as well, and they work really well together.
What I loved about everything you and the team were doing was it was so focused on being applied, and yes, you're also working on the academic part, but you're also in the pragmatic aspects to say, this is the value add, this is where the use cases are. And you'd get so many people coming into the airport who were there to share their stories, to make it as accessible and practical as possible. In the auditorium of that room, the acoustics, the feel of it was just really nice as well. I remember you telling me the story of how much thought actually went into that.
Yeah. No, and I suppose we were clear from the word go that we needed to do hybrid events. I mean, we would have 50 people coming on site to the event space to do the events, and then you could have 100 people joining remotely. And that's kind of what's happening with the AI masterclasses at the moment. We run the last Tuesday of each month. There's about 150 people attending them, and they're all hybrid events, which is really, really good. I suppose the key thing for us was, being founder driven, and customer driven. From the word go, we were listening to our customer, understanding, because that was really important to me for the first 6 months, was get out and listen to what the challenges were with companies and members in the region, and bring that into our strategy around, the space, helping companies to scale and grow. As you said, the connection with academia, but not to be too theoretical, to be very applied. And, we've brought that into everything. Even the AI Summer School, as you know, is a mixture of academia and industry and applied cases. So we don't just focus on the theory of AI. we have real life examples of, AI for sustainability, AI for sport, AI for finances is going to be this year. So the voice of the customer has been key, bringing that in, being very much part of the community, and everybody in Kerry and the Southwest feeling that the RDI Hub was theirs and their home and that they could engage with was important.
That's what really impressed me, was how you actually you and the team walked the journey of their different people's shoes to make it feel so inclusive for everyone else. And you were so focused on getting everyone's input before you'd actually drive it in. And even as a partner for the summer school, I always saw how you didn't want to lead a certain aspect until you got everyone's feedback to go, is this worth doing it? I don't want to continue with this route unless you actually all believe in it. Where I've been on so many other sessions where it's like, this is what we're going to do, that's the way it is, just get on with it. So do you think that's, was that just your build-up of working in places like Adapt, Microsoft, being a startup founder yourself? Is that the kind of golden thread you just learned over the years?
Yeah, like for me personally, the voice of the customer is key. We have to be founder driven. NDRC was part of that, HBAN, all the different initiatives, Skill and Innovation Exchange, we're all about bringing the voice of the customer in. And, when we even apply for grants, we look at it through, obviously we look at it through to try and build funding, but we're also trying to see how can that help the ecosystem in Kerry and stuff like that. So I think that community element, and that would be a thread with FEXCO as well. Who one of the key partners in RDI Hub, they're very community-driven organisation, really want to give back to the community and want to embrace what the community is doing. So yeah, no, definitely was a key element of it from the word go, and we've brought that into everything we do, as you said, into the summer school as well. Like last year, we did AI for sport because, Kerry's a sportsman county, and we knew that would resonate really well. And even one of the panel discussions we did, we brought in, the Kerry football, the male team, the female team, we brought in local athletes, and we asked them how would they use AI, for example, or how would they use data. So again, it was a really good example of, Paddy Clifford, how are you using AI, how are you using data, where does it really help you and stuff like that. So I think that's been a key thread all throughout, yeah.
Have you been surprised, and again, this isn't your first rodeo with AI, have you been surprised with the uptake and the interest in it in the last kind of 3 to 5 years?
I've been blown away. I suppose, as you said, we've been doing a summer school for 6 years. This will be our 6th year doing it. But I suppose we really went deep into AI in January 2024 when we did the Gen AI for Business event with Microsoft and PwC. And it was clear on the back of that there was a demand for masterclasses. We kicked those off in February last year. And I've just been blown away that we had 150 people to turn up the last Tuesday of each month. To be fair to the programs team and the RDI Hub, they've done a great job bringing the speakers together. And, it's a really good session of, theory, applied, networking over that 2-hour session. But there's a real need for it. And it's same with the training courses. We collaborated with Microsoft to do the Microsoft 365 Copilot training the last Thursday of each month. We've never any problem getting 20 people in each month to do those. And then the consultancy is kind of going in deeper and really understanding, where can AI help productivity. We set an objective this year that we'd sign up 9 companies for the Smart Regions AI Navigator program. We're probably going to end up with 12 because the demand is there. But the big challenge, and it's the challenge that we all face, I guess, Mark, is how do you scale these initiatives? Like how do you bring, what we're doing with those 12 companies to 100 to 200 companies to 1,000. And that's the challenge, I think, for Ireland Inc. all up at the moment, is bringing the work that AI Ireland's doing, the work that RDI Hub is doing, Microsoft, everybody, FEXCO, how do we bring that out to the whole of the country?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I know there's a few things going to be happening in the Dáil today in the world of AI, and Malcolm's been set up on a committee. We've got the AI Advisory Council was doing some wonderful work as well. They just feel that kind of having that golden thread of having that kind of one source of information, that one source of truth, and trying to making it accessible for everyone is something we can do. And in the island that we have, you'd expect that that's something that could be achievable.
Yeah, 100%. And look, it's a massive opportunity for us in Ireland. I think I keep saying we have all the ingredients. If you look at, in the centre, say like some Mike's, like our RDI Hub, we're working very closely with, big multinationals like Microsoft. We're working very closely with local government, with central government, working really closely with SMEs, with startups, working really closely with AI Ireland. So how do we kind of bring this ecosystem together and seize the opportunity, and I think that's something we have to embrace and go after. And, obviously we need to be conscious of the regulation and stuff like that, but also really bring in the innovation and bring in that innovative opportunity. So
please give me 30 seconds of your time. It blows my mind that only 9% of listeners actually subscribe to our podcast. I'm going to ask you one favor. If you like and enjoy this podcast, please can you subscribe? That one thing will really, really help us in the team get you the very, very best guests. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. One of the challenges I find is it's not necessarily that people don't want to do it. It's just allocating time to actually get off the hamster wheel, that they can actually start to use the tools or get a bit of perspective around how they could reimagine their day-to-day work, how long it's taken them to do certain tasks. If they could augment that with AI, what would that actually look like? And if they had more time, how could they get closer to their customer? But when you're so busy focused on it, tunneling in terms of just getting through to the next day, there's a habit of just going, well, actually, I'll just do what I need to because I have to get over this next hump. I believe that if we can give ourselves just some time to just take a step back, get some perspective, we can start to build it and grow it. But it is particularly challenging for larger organizations because they're just a machine with so many different nuances to try to grow it out. But when you've got some of the more smaller, niche, newer companies, they can be AI first from day one.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think a lot of the time it's just getting started, you know, like it's just finding the opportunity of where you can apply AI. Like, I mean, we're all dabbling on, you know, trying to improve our productivity, you know, using AI for note taking or, you know, summarizing minutes of meetings and stuff like that. But, you know, like some of the companies we've spoken to in Kerry and we've asked them around their AI strategy and they look at a whiteboard and they go, there it is, and it's blank and they don't know where to get started, you know. And I suppose that's what we try and do in the RDI Hub is, you know, get them started through the master classes the last Tuesday of each month, the training the last Thursday of each month, and then going in and doing the individual consultancy and kind of looking at, you know, where can they make the cost savings? Is it in the finance? Is it in customer support? You know, where can they bring in an AI agent? But then being conscious the whole time around regulation, cybersecurity, their data. And I suppose a lot of time it's, you know, data is king in this world. Like, I mean, if you don't have good data, you really are not going to get good results and stuff like that. So it's doing that work. But I think a lot of the companies now in Kerry and Cork that we're working with have that fear of missing out. Like, as if we don't get started, you know, we're going to be left behind and stuff. And I suppose the role of hubs like ours is to be that network to bring these people together. And that's even where I see the AI Summer School coming into its own this year, where we can bring all the finance professionals together for 2 days. All right, they'll get presentations but the networking will be key and learning from each other, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of think of it as these kind of the pyramid. And I talk about 5 Ps, but I add a couple of Ps and drop a few Ps depending on my mood. But I think the people P in terms of the literacy, just here's the rules of the road. Here's a bit of a basic breakdown of what it is. Here's 3 use cases of how you can use it yourself. That next P is how to go in the process. This is currently how you've got your standard operating procedures. This is what you do day to day. How do we remove the fluff to become more effective of what you've got? And then the product or service, can you get closer to your customer? Can you remove that friction from it? And then can you actually have a better experience with your employees day to day, your colleagues? And then the one that I always see is really underestimated is having that safe place to play where you've got the sandbox, where you're actually going, okay, I've got an hour or two, let's say an hour, and I'm going to try out some of these products and I'm going to use my own documents to see the value add. That could be Canva creating a brochure, could be Notebook LM, taking a document and using frequently asked questions to try to learn more information about it. And then taking a step back to actually go proprietary. How do you take that gold mine of data, the insights you've built up, how do you start to collect this? Yeah. I think one of the simplest ways to use is a tool like Otter AI or Teams to record the minutes and then start to interrogate that, get next best actions. Would you believe I was doing a Teams call with Kalika Bali and Microsoft in India? We were doing a podcast, and in the call, it actually pops up, you should ask this question next. Just incredible. I wasn't even thinking of that angle, but it's like it was prompting me to do it. That would have been based on that. So that's giving really, really insight. And then ultimately it's about taking a step back to say perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm currently doing this. We're doing that. We're generating X. Is that going to be good enough where we want to get to? And I think from a national perspective, individual perspective, we're going to have to start to break these models, because if we don't break them, someone else is going to completely disrupt them. bringing it in. Were you noticing that on the ground? Because you probably work with so many different types of companies with different journeys that they were going on.
Yeah, and I think I love the 5 Ps model that you have, and I suppose for me there's kind of 3 Ps that are really important in terms of AI. So like you're right, it starts with the people. Like, you know, it's getting the people on board. You know, sometimes it's changing the culture within the organisation to embrace AI and stuff like that. So certainly the people is one element of it. I think the second element is productivity. You know, like people want to see that AI is going to make them more productive. It's going to save them time, and that's the second P for me. And then the third P is really profit, right? So like you make all this investment in people, you know, the training, you know, embracing AI, you know, you make the investment in the tools, whether it's Microsoft, Google, whatever it is. But like, where is the return on investment? Like, you know, where is the profit? Is it helping our bottom line? So I kind of look at it through those lenses, those 3 Ps of people, productivity, and profit. And if you can see all of them moving in the right direction, then I think you'll build your real AI strategy, and that's what we're seeing on the ground in Kerry.
Yeah, and then you get more confidence that because you can show some proof of concept to say this is what we've actually generated.
Yeah.
Tell me about the summer school, AI and finance. What can we expect?
Yeah, so the great news about the summer school is this is our 6th year doing the summer school. As I said, we kicked it off in 2020 with around AI for sustainability. We've had different topics over the years: AI for tourism, AI for sport last year, and this year it's AI for finance. So it's a 2-day school, 18th and 19th September in the RDI Hub in Killorgan. It's going to be a hybrid event. We're going to be a mixture of speakers from academia, from industry. As you said earlier on, RDI Hub is very applied. You know, it's going to be national, international speakers. We're delighted to have the same sponsors back again this year. So, you know, Microsoft have been there from the very start, along with the Adapt Research Centre, Munster Technological University, and AA Ireland. So it's fantastic to have all those sponsors there this year. We also have Skill and Innovation Exchange and FEXCO going to be a sponsor this year as well. So at the moment we're working on, you know, getting speakers lined up or whatever. You know, I suppose the topics we're seeing that are kind of coming to the fore around AI for finance is around agentic AI. So how can AI agents help in the whole commerce space? You know, we're seeing a lot of real interest around the whole area of cybersecurity, blockchain, and like some of the companies we've already kind of signed up to speak would be like, you know, Veronica Breen from Vesta Insights, you know, David Carney from Numra, David Keller from Outmen, you know, MasterCard has signed up, Microsoft has signed up as well. So like we're going to keep building the speaker lineup over the next while. But, you know, it'll be 2 days of fantastic insights. We also have a research colloquium with Munster Technological University at the start of day 2, which will be like 3 PhD students that are doing research in AI for finance as part of their MSc in FinTech in Munster Technological University, will present on the day and stuff like that. So, you know, it should be a fantastic event. And as I said, it's a hybrid event, so people can join online or they can come and be in person in the RDI Hub.
But a lot of the magic happens when you actually rub shoulders with people and just give different perspectives and even just contrarian views and just get it back. And even the wealth of the people you've just talked about there, the insights those people have to solving problems in that area is really, 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 really good. The next journey, we're on the next journey. It's coming up soon. When people see this episode, it'll be a few weeks later. But tell us about what the next journey is going to bring for you, Liam.
Yeah, so look, after 6 years in the RDI Hub, I've decided to move on to a new role in UCD. So I'll be the Director of Innovation in Nova UCD starting next Monday. I suppose, look, over the last 6 years, what I've seen in Ireland is that, you know, whether you're a startup based in Killorgan, where we've been based in RDI Hub, or in Stillorgan, where Nova UCD is based, the same level of supports are there. So I suppose now it's an opportunity for me, given, you know, the last 5 or 6 years and the experience I've built up in Killorgan and the impact I've had there, to move to bring that experience to Nova UCD. And I suppose what I'm hoping to do in UCD is similar enough to RDI Hub, you know, support the creation of startups through working with the researchers, you know, supporting the spin-in strategy where people can spin into Nova UCD to work on their startup, hopefully get a lot of spin-outs happening as well. And really it's the similar metrics that we would have had with Enterprise Ireland around creating new jobs, creating new products and services, and, you know, driving AI initiatives as well, working very closely with CEDAR, which is the European Digital Innovation Hub for AI here in Ireland. So yeah, look, excited about the next chapter, delighted with the impact I've had in Killorgan over the last 6 years, and now it's time to move to Stillorgan and have hopefully the same impact in Nova UCD.
Liam, we wish you the very, very best of luck with that, and thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for all the support you've given me over the last 6 years in the RDI. You've been a fantastic supporter, you and AI Ireland. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Mark Kelly, founder of AI Ireland. We're passionate about collaboration and sharing the incredible stories behind every AI journey. That's why we're always looking for guests to join our in-person AI Ireland podcast experience. If you're working on innovative AI projects or have a story that can inspire others, we want to hear from you. This is your chance to share your insights, experiences and ideas with a really vibrant community that's as excited about AI as you are. So if you're ready to be part of this conversation and help shape the future of AI in Ireland, please get in touch today. We can't wait to collaborate with you. Thank you.